Hello, we are now streaming live. Thank you everybody for tuning in. And if you're new to the channel, we are, we're a company who's going to do business a little differently, and we want everybody to be part of it. And hopefully we can start a whole new trend and do business a little differently. And this is business for everybody. So we're doing a little bit different. We're doing a one-day stream, which we normally do on Saturday evenings, which we did 3 episodes. The first 2 have been removed from the database as they were not the greatest streams. There were some audio issues. Anyways, there'll be clips about it soon. But the third stream was still a little rough, but we're going to leave it on there, and then we're going to continue to better ourselves as we go along. So hopefully this stream works out a little bit better, but in the meantime, we are going to, talk a little bit about today. We're going to talk a little bit about future economies and what we mean by future economies. We're going to turn the music down just a splash here, but who doesn't want to hear some tunage, right? Gotta have a little bit of music when you're listening to this stuff, right? Maybe turn my mic down a smidge. There we go. Maybe that's better. There we go. That's pretty good. And so I really want to engage with people in the room and in the chat, and hopefully we can do that. And if you have any questions or you have anything you want to chime in and talk about, or you want to get involved in what we're doing, then by all means, let's do it. So without further ado, we want to talk a little bit about, we're going to get off that. Advertising. What we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about future economies. And I was talking with some of the chat and touring news, and that's a great little channel that if you want to learn a lot about geopolitics and things like that, that's suggest going over to touring news and learning a little bit there. But today we're going to be doing things a little bit different, a little off the cuff. We're going to talk a little bit about future economies, and something that is important that I think that we all need to discuss, and we all need to keep an idea about, since we're a company about looking to bring the future into the way business is done now. We're going to talk a little bit about future economies and what I mean by them. And some of the things that they were talking about touring news, they couldn't understand how we could have a talk about economies without politics. Well, we can, but we're going to leave the party politics out of it. So, there's an election coming up. I don't know if you heard about this. America. Did you know there's an election? So we're not going to get into all that stuff. We're not going to get into party stuff here. Because as a company that is looking at the future of developing business in the future, the parties that you see today, they're going to be very different in another 20, 30 years. I mean, most of that generation will be long gone. So I'm not too worried about, the party politics right now. Not something that we're going to worry about. We're going to talk about future economies. And one of the things that we're going to do about future economies and how we're going to get into future economies is we're going to talk about something that is very important that I think a lot of people don't quite pay attention to too much now, which is birth rates. So birth rates are important for future economies. Why? Well, birth rate in future economy is essentially the generation that's coming up. I mean, when we think of economics, we think of like the here and the now, and but realistically, the economics it's an ever changing, it's an always changing, never ever the same system. It's always going to be new. It's always going to be moving. It's always going to be, what economics today is different from economics 100 years ago. Right? I mean, some of the fundamentals are still there, but I mean, the processes are different. Obviously, the players are different. All those things are different. So we're going to look at a lot of economics from a standpoint of the birth rate of the generation that is coming up. So somebody that has been born today in 15 or 20 years will be a major part of the economy, will be the next generation of the economic future. And so we need to start looking at, the economy of the future of the economy, kind of like with the babies today. So we're going to do. So we're going to look at something that I want to go over, which is this commercial. Joking. We're going to skip that ad. We're going to go back to having a little bit of background music. Does everybody agree having a little bit of background music? I think so. I think we should have a little bit of background music in there. Just a little. Nothing too heavy. Just a little bit. Just to keep the flow going a little here. But so we're going to bring up birth rate. And birth rate of one of the, economies in the world, the economy in the world that is, one of the biggest economies, which is the American economy. We're going to bring up the birth rate. And here it is. Boop. Here's the birth rate. Now, why is the birth rate important? Why should we talk about birth rate as part of future economies? Well, because when birth rate is under 2, unless men start having babies, that means the women are having to replace themselves plus a male. So anything less than 2 is considered a shrinking population. Now, there's other reason why I'm bringing this up here. Is because I wasn't always like that. Now, as you see up further up in here, in 1960, right? In 1960 in America was 3.65. So that means for every female out there was producing or having offspring. I'm talking, but I'm sorry. I apologize. But every female was having a child. The average was 3.65. So not only were they replacing themselves, they were replacing the men out there. So the birth rate the population would go up on a natural population curve. So this is very different now. So if we look here, if we slide down the hill, down, look at 1977, right? At some point in time around the early 70s, it broke 2. It's early 70s, and I'm no scientist, but this curve keeps going down. Now, why are we talking about this? Why is this a big deal? Why is this something that we should care about? Well, this is the future of, this is America, and I'm going to bring up Canada. I'm Canadian, so I'm going to bring up Canada soon too, and it is actually worse. Now, there's nothing wrong with having that, but you make up for that with immigration. Immigration helps balance out your population decline, so you increase your immigration, and you can sort of stabilize that, right? But that's the average female birth for females. So this is a big deal to us, because this generation that you see today, the children that are born in 2017, which is what this census was, and it's not any better today. The children are born today, or when this was out, are going to be the economy that you're going to see in 20 years. So it's very important that we understand that even though the real estate is expensive now, and the inflation has been pretty stable for the last quite some time, not like it used to be in the 70s when it just exploded. In the 70s, inflation just blew right up. So it's not like that. Not like that now. You're not going to see that. Maybe not. I can see that anytime soon that we know of. But right now, this population for America being 1.77 means that you have to, in order to maintain your population, you have to immigrate into your country to keep it above 2. Because if you have it less than 2, your population will start to shrink. We don't want that. Nobody wants that. So I'm going to go over a few more. I'm going to go look at Canada, which is... Whoops, United Canada. Whoops. That's not how it works. For Canada. So there we go. We're at 1.5. So Canada is so even at its peak. So in 1960, Canada was actually a little higher, right? In 1960 compared to America, but pretty close, you know. And then at some point in time, around the same time, around the 70s, early 70s. So what's happened in the early 70s, right? Inflation exploded, things became more expensive, people were probably a little more cautious about buying things, you know. And then it's just a steep decline. So that's why immigration, and that's why you'll see Canada being very progressive with their immigration, because look at this, 1.5. So a female in Canada is having 1.5 babies, which means that the population is shrinking. So they have, and even faster than the natural population, shrinking faster than in the U.S. So Canada has to be a little more aggressive with their immigration just to keep those future economies protected. So you can see how we're doing that. See how we're talking about economics without politics? You can do that. I'm not saying without politics, but we try to keep party politics out of it. We're just going to stick with, more social economics here. But this is very important. And but one of the funny things is that you can see the track of birth rates around the world. And you'll see some pretty shocking... oops, I understand it's 2 words. So there's some parts of the world that are obviously have a higher birth rate. You can see most of them are around the African continent. Okay. So this is, obviously most of these nations are quite poor. So they don't have, active healthcare systems as accessible as America and Canada and much of the world. So there's some things here that are, for them, that's a tough pill to swallow for them, because there's some issues with the blowing population now, increasing healthcare from other countries, wealthier countries, putting more money into the healthcare for these types of regions will certainly help, and will help with a lot of some of the issues out there. And then I think it's part of us as a global economy to wealthy nations to chip in to help around the world, certain economies around the world that are less fortunate than we have. I mean, a lot of people around here and around our North America and Europe and wealthy nations, they don't really see some of the issues that some of the issues that arise in poorer nations, right? So we don't deal with a lot of those same issues. So the reason we're talking about this is, again, we believe that this is sort of the future of where we're going, and the population that is born today in the last few years, that's going to be the economy. So this is something that we, as a company that is looking at the future of economies, this is important to us, right? We're doing business for the future now, and we're getting ready for a new way to do business, more of a flexible economy, and essentially, individuals and that anybody can be a brand now. Anybody can launch products. There's a lot of people that have different views on what we think is important, and what we look at as part of important pieces of our economy, important companies in our economy. I believe firmly that companies like an Amazon have opened the doors up to brands and producers of all stripes that can now put their products out there. So Amazon has done an amazing job to allow anybody to become a brand, and brands around the world and companies around the world, small little independent producers can put their products out there and make a living. Etsy is another one too. Etsy allows the small little independent producers to get their products in the hands of people. So if you're watching this and you don't believe me, then try coming out with a brand 25 years ago. How difficult it was. There was no Amazon, there was no e-commerce, there wasn't any of these things. So launching a brand, in the 80s and the 90s and obviously before, was very difficult. There was you're now dealing with an economy that jumped, and there's a lot of bigger players and a lot of mergers and a lot of big guys in that market space in the 80s and 90s, and the gap, the wealth gap sort of fell off, or sort of split. So the wealth gap started to do this. So to launch a brand in that era, very, very difficult, very expensive. You almost have to be lucky and very smart. It's very crafty to get a brand launched. Nowadays, you can launch a brand through Amazon from your basement, through Etsy, through eBay. You can be your own brand. You can come up with a logo and pump it out there, and hold on, somebody's trying to break in my office here. Give me a second here. Anyways, so those are some things that we are looking at, and we want to make sure that everybody knows that companies like Amazon, eBay, Etsy, and there's so many more. The fact that online marketing and online advertising has become open to everybody. I mean, never before have you been able to market and advertise for $10 a day. Like, at what point in history could you advertise your business for $10 a day? Like, you could set budgets of $5 a day, $10 a day, $25 a day. So you can really customize your budget. So growing a brand in today's market space is way easier. And if you're watching this stream and you're watching this on a recorded video, understand that there's nothing to be scared of, and don't be overwhelmed with a lot of the bigger companies out there. Some of the companies that, like an Amazon, they've opened the doors up for a lot of smaller independent businesses like you, like me, to do their thing. So hold on a second here. I'm going to take a short break. Somebody's trying to break into the office here. It's because it's during the day. Usually we do these streams Saturday night. It's quiet, but now we're here during the day. The office is moving and shaking. So we're going to take a quick little break here, and I'm going to just give me 1 second, and I'll be right back. Okay? Thank you.
Video game not yet rated. LEGO Star Wars playsets out now. And new video game coming soon. Multiple sets shown. Video game not yet rated. Each set and video game sold separately.
All right. We're back. Hi. Yeah, it's busy in the office during the day. Like, during the week, during the day, it's busy in the office. There's a lot of things going on, a lot of phone calls, a lot of people needing to talk to me, but that's okay. I'm back. So what we were talking about future economies, and we were doing so without so much politics. Okay? So where we're getting at here is understand that we believe that the economies that you are exposed to every day, the major players in the economy, like an Amazon and like online sources and your own websites, and everybody can have their own website now. This is a huge opportunity, and nobody should be getting distracted with the fact that Amazon is obviously a super giant, mega rich company. They're rich for a reason. Amazon's rich for a reason. First of all, if you knew a little bit about the story of Jeff Bezos and how Jeff Bezos started Amazon, all the credit to him, because he fought through adversity. I mean, Amazon was built during and right in the dot-com bubble, and if you've ever been in business during the dot-com bubble, which I was like 20 years old or 19 years old. I was starting my working career at that age, while going to school a little bit too. It was a huge thing. Like, you saw websites and whatnot a long time ago were considered these, just these things that you could play games on and, send some emails. And I think, disk for your search to download your search engine, things like that. So, starting this company, and he saw where this is going. So this is why we're talking, guys, future economies. This was foresight that Jeff Bezos had 20 years ago. Okay, nobody was in that market space. Everybody was saying, well, opening up and you're doing stuff, and I fought through it, seeing what was going to happen. And if you watched some of the videos, he was saying over and over again, this is what the economy is going to look like 20 years ago. Okay, so give the man some credit that he saw this, what we are in right now, this Amazon domination world. He saw that. And he was one of very few people that saw it. And ones who probably did see it, who we're going to keep these commercials on, by the way, because it helps out this copyright-free company, which is okay. We like to help out businesses. He saw this, and all the power to him. There's some people that dislike Elon Musk. Well, guess what? Elon Musk saw the fact that internal combustion engines will eventually be a thing of the past, right? And we're still seeing this growth rate of electric cars and whatnot, but this is where it's at. This is what is happening. So, understanding the future economies, you have to think a little bit ahead. You have to kind of come back to where you are, and very special people to do that. And you have to see the things that they see, and it's hard. And it's hard for entrepreneurs sometimes to get their timing right. Timing is everything when you're a small business starting, especially if you have new products and new inventions and new things like timing. If you're watching this recording now, because I don't have many viewers, that's okay. But if you're watching this recording and you're a small business, or you're starting a brand, or you're starting a product, you're starting to build a product, understand that, like this music, that, the big companies can be your friends. You're able to get your brand out there, and don't worry about competing on this big main stage and with the big guys and whatnot. That's okay. That's okay. New ideas come out every day. So, as somebody who wants to be in business and wants to do business, You know, you work with the tools that you're given, right? Like I said before, business has never been easier now. There are so many tools to use now which never existed 25 years ago. Like, you know, I worked with my father for many years, and some of the things that I talked to him about many years ago, you know, he's just blown away. He already knows that, like, you know, it's way past what his understanding is of marketing. You know, it took a while to figure out, you know, even having a website. It took a while to figure out, you know, advertising on Google. It took a while to figure out all these things as a small business, you know, leader and a business owner. It's difficult to wrap your head around that, especially if you've been in business for, you know, since the 70s. Business is relatively unchanged. I mean, I remember when the Yellow Pages. I remember when the Yellow Pages were pretty inexpensive to get into, and then right before the Google came in, the Yellow Pages were when they were like $14,000 a year, $10,000 a year to have a splashy page in the Yellow Pages. It was wild. And I remember the Yellow Pages guy coming in, you know, talking to me and asking me about, we're going to renew our ad. And we've been paying $10,000, $15,000 a year for Yellow Pages for a long time. And the one day he came in and I said, no, we're not doing it. And he says, well, why not? He was devastated. This was like in 2006 or 7. So, well, why not? I said, well, frankly, you've been replaced by Google. I mean, like we've looked at the metrics. I mean, my father for many years used to keep a little booklet. He still does, right? Used to keep a booklet at the front of the counter when you walked in. My father had a store, and then what you do is, when the customer left, you had these little columns, and you check off how the customer came in. You have to make sure. I remember asking all the new salespeople. I said, hey, how they heard about us? Oh, I forgot. Well, go on. I've had salespeople run out to the parking lot. Hey, why'd you hear about us? But it was important to keep that data. We used to have like a little check boxes and whatnot. And then after a while, the check boxes for Yellow Pages were like ... and they were falling off. And then after a certain period of time, we were getting like one person a week come in for Yellow Pages, and none of them were converting. So we eventually just canned Yellow Pages. I follow him, Linus. I like him. He's from Vancouver, by the way. Sorry, we're gonna fast forward your video, Linus. But yeah, so I mean, once Google came out and once online media came out and advertising happened, that on internet advertising took over, and the search engine killed Yellow Pages. And I remember he said he came to me 2 weeks later. He says, "Look, we have this product for the website, and here's what he does. It's like Yellow Pages, but it's all for your website. Your website goes on. You have Yellow Pages out on your website. Okay, let's do that, right?" So that was what we did, and then we held on to that for a while. But after a while, the Yellow Pages just became a line, something inexpensive, and we just left it there just to be on there. But I mean, I bet you Yellow Pages in the mid '90s didn't see that coming. Auto Trader as a magazine, I remember picking up Auto Trader magazines and used to flip through them. I bet you they never saw that coming. It's a good thing Auto Trader became the standard for, you know, car shopping for a while now, and there's a lot more out now. But these are things that we talk about when we talk about future economies. Okay, future economies doesn't necessarily involve party politics and, you know, things like that. So we're preparing for what's next. So as a company, we want to be on the cusp. We always want to be on the cusp. We want to be a little bit ahead of it. You don't want to be too far ahead of it. There's a great video of Jeff Bezos talking about timing. You know what? We can watch that. Well, we can watch a video about timing, because it's important to know timing and how business is timing. Talk business, early talk. This is in like 2000 something, 2002 or 4. He's doing this little presentation. This one is this one right here? Is that the one? That's the one. The electricity metaphor. So he talks about timing. So keep in mind, this is... Yes, thanks, LoomCube. I already watched it.
But, you know, if you really do believe that this one weighed 92 pounds and heavy infrastructure had already been laid of transmitting power. Men in Dawson at the present time only footing for our poor pack animals on the march. Often, I regret to say, exhausted but still alive, a fact we are unaware of until after the miserable wretches turn beneath the hooves of our cavalcade. The eyeless sockets of the pack animals. Not all these things were highly successful, this one weighed 92 pounds and took 2 people to operate and cost $1/4 of a car. So it wasn't a big seller. This was truly an early adopter product.
So he's talking about business timing
But 3 years later, by 1908, it weighed 40 pounds.
And where things go and how things work.
Not all these things were highly successful. This is the electric tie press, which never really did catch on. People, I guess, decided that they would not wrinkle their ties. These never really caught on either. The electric shoe warmer and dryer, never a big seller. This came in like 6 different colors. I don't know why. But I thought, you know, sometimes it's just not the right time for an invention. And maybe it's time to give this one another shot. So I thought we could build a Super Bowl ad for this, but we'd need the right partner.
See, he knew about timing of the product. That's a huge thing to understand timing of what you do and as a business.
Give that another shot. Now the toaster was huge because they used to make toast on open fires, and it took a lot of time and attention. Now I want to point out one thing. This is, you guys know what this is. They hadn't invented the electric socket yet. So this was, remember, they didn't wire the houses for electricity. They wired them for lighting. So your appliances would plug in. Each room typically had a light bulb socket at the top, and you'd plug it in there. In fact, if you've seen the Carousel of Progress at Disney World, you've seen this. Here are the cables coming up into this light fixture. All the appliances plug in there. And you would just unscrew your light bulb if you wanted to plug in an appliance. The next thing that really was a big deal was the washing machine. Now, this was an object of much envy and lust. Everybody wanted one of these electric washing machines. On the left-hand side, this was the soapy water, and there's a rotor there that this motor is spinning, and it'd clean your clothes. This is the clean rinse water. So you'd take the clothes out of here, put them in here, and then you'd run the clothes through this electric wringer. And this was a big deal. You'd keep this on your porch. It was a little bit messy and kind of a pain, and you'd run a long cord into the house where you could screw it into your light socket. And that's actually kind of an important point in my presentation because they hadn't invented the off switch. That was to come much later, the off switch on appliances, because it didn't make any sense. I mean, you didn't want this thing clogging up a light socket. So, you know, when you were done with it, you unscrewed it. That's what you did. You didn't turn it off. And as I said before, they hadn't invented the electric outlet either. So the washing machine was a particularly dangerous device. And when you research this, there are gruesome descriptions of people getting their hair and clothes caught in these devices. And they couldn't yank the cord out because it was screwed into a light socket inside the house. And there was no off switch, so it wasn't very good. And you might think that that was incredibly stupid of our ancestors to be plugging things into a light socket like this. But, you know, before I get too far into condemning our ancestors, I thought I'd show you, this is my conference room. This is a total kludge, if you ask me. First of all, this got installed upside down, this light socket, and so the cord keeps falling out, so I taped it in. This is supposed. Don't even get me started, but that's not the worst one. This is what it looks like under my desk. I took this picture just 2 days ago.
Can you believe that?
So we really haven't progressed that much since 1908.
Hold on a second here. So this is, I think it's mid 2000s or early 2000s. It was added in 2007. Okay. I'm not sure if this was 2007, but it was pretty. It was old. It was old. Judging by the computers that he's working with, I would say mid 2000s. But understand this. Jeff Bezos' desk looked like that more than a decade ago. Well, he didn't look much different from any other entrepreneur, small business owner out there. Now, understand this as a small business person, an independent business person. I mean, one of the things that I really appreciate when I see new companies coming into the marketplace that are, smaller businesses and independent businesses who are coming in, and it's very difficult. Not as far as tools go, but mentally. It's a challenge mentally, and it wears on you because, I mean, nobody's telling you that you're doing things right step. You're not checking boxes. I mean, it's really difficult. You can stay as organized as you want, but I mean, you also have to stay open, and you have to stay lucid to understanding the nature of, the business is always evolving. One of the reasons why I keep coming back to Jeff Bezos is he had the foresight to see this start to finish. Okay, from the mid 90s when Amazon first started to put out books on the internet, mid 90s, late 90s, he was sort of a small time guy for 8 or 10 years going through the bubble. A lot of struggles, a lot of heartache, and but the whole time he was saying this is the future of shopping and of the economy. So he was already understanding the future economies. Okay, so this is why I and he's going into timing here. Timing is huge for new companies.
It's a total mess. And we think it's.
Man, we're not going to get into this now, but I just want to show you.
Tried to install 802.11 yourself? I challenge you to try. It's very hard. I know PhDs in computer science, this process has brought them to tears.
Anyways, so that's really what I want to talk about when I talk about future economies and things like that. So the other thing I want to talk about also is upcoming tech. Now, upcoming tech is important to know. What is upcoming tech? You can just Google it. Okay. So smart glasses. Now there's a company in Waterloo called North that was just purchased by Google that made smart glasses. So wearable electronics, smart glasses, smart houses, virtual reality gaming, screenless displays, right? Which is like holo displays, which is what I love that. I love the holo displays. Touchscreen holo displays is like the next generation of tech. I don't think we're quite there yet. Certainly not in mainstream, right? But don't be surprised if for the next little while you start to see people walking around like this. You're going to see it, right? There you go. Wearable electronics, right? In your like electronics in your contact lens, or if you don't wear contacts, it's just essentially like a wearable electronics. So then now you start wearing electronics. So these are some of the things. Smart houses. Well, we already have that. Smart houses. It's nothing new. Reality gaming. Well, that's not new. However, I do have to explain this, that virtual reality gaming right now is just getting going, and it's getting up there. Oh, stop. just getting going, and we've only sort of touched on some of the basics. There'll be virtual reality vacations. There'll be virtual reality gaming, of course. There'll be virtual reality shopping, which you're going to be able to build your own shopping center, your own shopping mall, your own showrooms, and you do it, and then people walk through your showrooms virtually, digitally, and then you set it all up, and this will be a whole thing. You watch. There'll be entire shopping centers, malls that are virtual, and you wear your headset, and you go through the mall, and you can interact, you can play with it, you can engage with it. There's all these things that are going to be coming up. I mean, humans are very visual, so we like things that are visual. So this is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger all the time. Screenless displays is hollow displays, right? We're not quite there yet. Come a long way in the last 2 years. Yeah, it's come a long way, but it's not there yet. Brain-computer interfaces. I've seen this guy before. There's a lot of people that are working heavily on interfacing computers into the way people work and people doing things now. So that's a big thing. We're going to go back to having some music. Don't we have a little bit of music coming on? Where do we go? Stop it. Stop it.
Pulseway is a real-time remote monitoring and management software that allows you
Thanks,
to
Linus.
systems
Give me a
and
second here.
support users.
Down a little bit. Have a little bit in the background. Just a little bit in the background. So, of course, Elon Musk is having an AI interface with, brains and whatnot. So that's coming. Universal will be available services. This may sound complicated, but not really, because services exist. You may have heard of Uber. Well, I believe the future of transportation is not going to be it would be an Uber, but there'll be driverless Uber, of course. The odds of you probably not even bother having a license soon. My children who are just young, license will be optional. Probably they'll probably be able to just take a phone, call up a car, and it goes and just takes them wherever they want to go locally, right? So as we start to see more high-speed rail for longer distances, you'll start to see that, but these are slow processes, especially in North America. They don't happen right away, right? But I can see people driving Ubers. I can see that going out of style, or not out of style. Just it's going to be automated soon, right? For sure. Just to show you, let's just fun. We try to have some fun here. Hold on a second here. Let's do one thing here. Let's go with. Hey, look at that. We're on there live. Let's go with this. Let's look at what were we gonna look at? We're looking at what was it? What was that movie? I was gonna look at part of a movie. Let me go in here. Total Recall. That's right. Total Recall cab driver. I know it's 2 words. Whatever. Right here. Johnny Cab. Right here. This is let's be honest with you here. Yeah. Thank Commander Jado Meta with only 157 subscribers for this video. Thank you. I don't think they would do that, but they might.
I'm sorry. Would you please rephrase the question? Huh? How did I get in this taxi? Door open. Got in.
Look at his face. See, even there, it's all electric. You don't hear any engines. We know it's going electric.
Right here. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed the ride.
See, you just call it up with your phone there. Oh.
I'm Johnny Cat. Where can I take you tonight?
Drive.
Would you please repeat the destination?
Yeah, a computer wouldn't be able to do that.
Please state customer
Exactly.
number. I'm not familiar with that address. Would you please repeat the destination number?
Oh, there's a little joystick in there.
Fasten your seatbelt.
Let's come on. That's funny. See, you got to practice your joystick driving if you're going to drive cars in the future. All right, that's not fun in games. That guy's evil in almost every movie.
The fare is 8.
He's angry. Wants his money. Ah, boom. Self-destruct. See what happens if you don't tip cab drivers?
Enjoy the ride.
Try to kill you. Let's get back to the music, shall we? It's very uplifting. It makes me want to talk about, the future. Digital downloads will kill physical objects. Yeah, we already know that. Like video games, the end of owning physical copies of video game are upon us. Yes, they are. I mean, I think the new PS5, I think new PS5 is optional with a disc drive, something like that, right? Oh, that makes sense. Blu-ray. Take my Blu-ray. I love my Blu-rays. Gotta keep those. MP3s, imagine MP3s like MP3 player, video game system. Well, video game consoles are not so much video game consoles anymore. They're more like media entertainment centers, entertainment consoles. So, like the PS5 is a lot less video gamey, likely. I don't know, I've never played one, but there's a lot less, focus on just video games and probably more set up for all the apps, and you can watch Twitch, you can watch your YouTube, you can watch Netflix, you can watch Amazon, all these different services through your console. Yeah. So will there be a time where video games go bye-bye, like the discs? Yeah, as long as they keep making consoles with larger space on it and not like coming out with stored in the cloud, and then again they make you pay for like that. So find a way to get ya. Robots will be everywhere. Do you think so? We are. I mean, a lot of big things have happened in the last several years with robots. I mean, robots are now they're different shaped robots. There won't be a lot of than electric, probably, because biofuels are still a form of will be around. If you're one of those combustion engine super freaks, okay, yeah, it'll be around forever. Oh, it won't be. Nothing is. Nothing is. I mean, steam-powered trains in the 18th century, 19th century. You don't see steam-powered trains anymore. Okay, so yeah, typewriters. Like, things change. Get over it. Okay. Still have a truck. You still have a big car. It'll be run on different type of fuel, or no fuel at all. So we can get into the examples of this in the wild. GI wireless, yeah, we know that, right? But or not. Right? Oh, I caught out. Yeah. Check. Oh, wow. I was cut out for a bit. Sorry, guys. Lost sound. I've lost it. See? It's these Amazon microphones. It's okay. I'm not worried. We're going to make sure. I usually have 2 channels for my audio to back up. But since it was the hardware, that was the issue, wasn't the channel. Oh well, you had to listen to a little bit of music while I chatted. Artificial intelligence. Is artificial intelligence upcoming tech? Yeah. Obviously. But where is artificial intelligence going? It's got a long way to go. I mean, like, we were involved in it all the time with talking to our Google at Home Minis and our Alexas and our, that's really basic stuff. The algorithms that will be put in place for AI to be actually effective and used, not quite there yet. But see, Well, I was going to get into some hand sanitizer in a bit and the proper use of hand sanitizer, which we still might do. So let me just finish up here. Graphene. Yeah. Mass produce it. I want to see spider silk being produced. There's a million applications for spider silk. So. Anyways, that is okay. So we're going to take a quick break here, and we're going to cut over to our downstairs lobby where we do our presentations. And we're going to do a quick presentation, and we're going to do a little education on how to effectively use and put on hand sanitizer. I keep going back to this because I want people to understand that you don't just have hand sanitizer, you have to use it properly in order for it to be effective. Okay, we're in a global pandemic here, guys, so we're going to show you how to use it. We're going to go down to our lobby, and we're going to do that. So you're going to have to give me a couple of minutes here, and we will be right back with that soon. Check. All right, everybody. We're here down at the lobby. We're here talking about hand sanitizers. Of course, we now offer a brand of hand sanitizer from a small independent producer, and it's called the Alco Shield hand sanitizer. It's only available for Canadian residents right now. We have another batch that might be coming out soon, available for the US, but right now it's just for Canada. We're going to put this on pause, shall we? Okay, so we want to go over a little bit about hand sanitizers and how they work and how to effectively use them, because I don't think that everybody's using them correctly. So I wanted to show you everybody the proper safe way to use hand sanitizers. Okay, so hand sanitizers are typically alcohol-based, usually. There's many out there that are not alcohol-based, but effective hand sanitizers typically are alcohol-based. So the Purells that you see out there, they're all based on ethyl alcohol. The minimum that they want to see is around 60, 65. When you get over into 70, 75, it's a little higher grade, so it's a bit of a stronger smell. However, I'm a big fan of the stronger hand sanitizers. Aside from putting your hand into rubbing alcohol, which is not recommended. So they put a gelling agent in the alcohol. The Alco Shield is 70% ethyl, 5% isopropyl. and it's a high grade quality of alcohol. So the higher the grade alcohol, the better. So we're going to show you a little bit about how to effectively use hand sanitizer. So hand sanitizer should have some gelling agent in them. Okay, so when the bottle rotates, still shouldn't see liquid. It shouldn't be watery. Now, it's not because it's not effective when it's watery, but when it's watery, what happens is that the watery ones tend to sort of run off, and they tend to not stay in your hands. So hand sanitizers have to stay in your hands for approximately 30 seconds and to effectively do what it needs to do, which is kill the bacteria and the germs. So that typically has to do with the application as well. Now, a lot of people forget to get their whole hand, and they forget to get the back of their hands and all around. So typically hand sanitizers, so see here, we want to see the drip. See that drip? See how it blobs? Blob, 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 blob. Whoop, that was a little bit of a shooting blob. They should actually see what happens when you shoot it. You should actually see a bit of a shine. See the shine? And it should be all around your hands. You should get it all over your hands, get it through your fingers. Okay, get it all around, back of your hands, and cover your whole hands with it. Your hands do all kinds of things. They go inside, they touch handles, the back of them touches things, it surfaces. I mean, we rub our nose, rub our hair, we do everything. So we touch our face, it's like that. We spread germs around, all around your hands. Obviously, the front of the surface of your hand gets most of it, but you really want to, to use an effective hand sanitizer properly, you really need to get your whole hand and get the back of it and really get it into there, really work it in. The end result should be non-sticky, so you shouldn't feel sticky. There should be a little bit of smoothness to it, and that strong alcohol smell would dissipate, and over a period of a very short period, and it'll go away. So we want to make sure that everybody's understanding when you use hand sanitizers, you cover your whole hand with them, and you take your time. You make sure you rub them for a good 20-30 seconds, right? And it should last on there. So at the end of it, you should not feel any sticky residue. Sticky residues, bad mixtures, bad gelling agents, bad just an inferior product, really. You shouldn't have any sticky residue. It should be smooth, it should be soft, right? And some of them have floral fragrances to them. The Alco Shield has a little bit of a floral fragrance. A lot of times companies are a little scared with that because they say it masks some of the lower quality alcohol, which in a lot of cases it does. If it smells like tequila or it smells like your favorite booze, then it's probably it's definitely an ethyl alcohol based, but they're supposed to put in denaturing agents in it so it doesn't smell like alcohol, but that's typically what you'd find in a producer that produces spirits. So that's a spirit producer. So I'm glad everybody saw this. I want to make sure everybody saw how to effectively use hand sanitizers and how to put them on your hand properly. And if you're in Canada and you want to get a box of the Alco Shield, it is available to you. There's a code on there right now which is called SAFE 2020, and put the code in, 45% off. So very special offer, limited offer, and we'll go from there. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. We're gonna head back upstairs, and without further ado, let me get out of the lobby here. Yeah, okay. Yeah, they're asking me to get out because they're bringing in some furniture, so I got to get out of the lobby here. So I'll see you guys upstairs in a bit, okay? All right, we're back. I just hope this sounds okay. Jeez. We'll turn that down a wee bit, shall we? All right. Well, we did what we want to do today. We got some hand sanitizers. We wanted to show you everybody sort of how to safely use them, which we did, or properly use them. We talked about some upcoming tech and some future tech and things like that. And we talked about some future economies and why it's important to know the fundamentals about future economies. So we just wanted to do a short little stream today. I don't think too many people signed in, but that's okay. We're going to keep this as a recorded video, and you can come check it out anytime and watch it. And if you like what you see on the recorded video, follow us, and we'll see you around, guys.